A Fox News alert, a Georgia grand jury charging former President Trump and 18 others, including Rudy Giuliani and Mark Meadows, over their alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election. It's the former president's fourth indictment as he seeks another term in the White House. You are watching Fox and Friends First on this Tuesday morning. I'm Carly Shimkus.
And I'm Todd Pyro. Trump has until next Friday to surrender to authorities who say he will be booked and a mugshot will be released. That is different from previous indictments. The DA says she's looking to start the trial within the next 6 months, and that is not sitting well with some on the right.
I'm pissed. I'm pissed at these over and over and over again. This is disgraceful. Our country is over 200 years old. We have never once indicted a former president or a candidate and a leading candidate for president. And this is Joe Biden and this is the Democrats weaponizing the justice system because they're afraid of the voters. This is disgraceful. It is wrong, and it is an abuse of power by angry Democrats who have decided the rule of law doesn't matter to them anymore.
Brooke Singman spoke exclusively with former President Trump last night, and she joins us now with his response. Brooke.
Hey, good morning, you guys. I did speak exclusively with the former president last night, who says his fourth indictment comes during a dark period for our country, but he won't let it stop him. Now, President Trump told me, quote, this politically inspired indictment, which could have been brought close to 3 years ago, was tailored for placement right smack in the middle of my political campaign, where I am leading all Republicans. Now, late last night, Trump was indicted by Fulton County, Georgia DA Fani Willis, along with these 18 others, including his one-time personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, attorneys John Eastman, Sidney Powell, and former Trump White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows. Now,
I have no clue who's this? Hampton? What in the world? Anyway.
These charges come after a years-long criminal investigation led by Georgia state prosecutors over his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election in the state. The charges include violating the Georgia RICO Act. Now, this is a law originally created to take down mobsters. It allows the state to bundle together what may seem like unrelated crimes committed by different people if those crimes seem to be in support of a common objective like overturning an election. He's also facing charges for solicitation of violation of oath by a public officer, among many other charges, including charges from his previous indictments like conspiracy to commit false statements and filing false documents.
The participants in association took various actions in Georgia and elsewhere to block the counting of the votes of the presidential electors, who were certified as the winners of Georgia's 2020 general election.
The indictment alleges Trump, with the help of others, knowingly and willfully joined in conspiracy to change the election results in his favor. Trump's team telling Americans to pay attention to how last night's indictment unfolded. Listen.
The fact that we have people standing by and leaks to the press before I've even seen his indictment, before the indictments even come out, is exactly the problem that we have in this country at this moment. It's a politicization. And Fani, by the way, on Thursday and Friday updated her campaign website. Has anybody spoken about that? It's political lawfare.
The district attorney is giving all defendants until next Friday at noon to surrender, and that is just 2 days after President Trump could be on stage at the first Republican presidential debate. But, guys, he hasn't decided if he's going to attend just yet.
He's not going to debate. There's no point in him debating at this point. You know, he's come out and spoken enough. You know, I don't see that being even remotely beneficial to Uncle Trump. It's not like he's hiding, you know what I mean? It's not like he's out hiding in his basement somewhere, you know, not saying anything. He's done rallies and everything, and of course, you know, he's always speaking on Truth Social. So I don't see him doing that debate. So that's a non-concern in my humble opinion. But yeah, this stuff is definitely political in my humble opinion. You know, you have this what's her name? Fani, whatever her name is, in Georgia. You know, I think this is just a push to, you know, boost her, you know, popularity, to get her face out there even more. So when she runs for office, you know, people know who she is, and oh yeah, I was the one that indicted Donald Trump, you know. In my humble opinion. Now, I could totally be wrong, but that's just how I feel about it. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling in the comment section. But, another indictment. Who cares? Who cares? I'm yawning at this stuff at this point. Not saying that, not yawning in the fact that, this is unprecedented and this is crazy. But I'm yawning at the fact that they're trying to persuade us to move away from Uncle Trump. And it ain't happening. It's not happening. It's still Uncle Trump, baby.
Kicking us off, Brooks Singman, thank you. Let's bring in constitutional attorney and former member of President Trump's transition team, Mark Smith. Mark, Alan Dershowitz said the tactics that Trump's team used in Georgia were the exact same tactics that he and his team used in Florida in 2000 on the Democratic side to try and contest the election there in Florida for one Al Gore. So is challenging an election now illegal because Trump did it? And if so, I guess Stacey Abrams, the current governor of Georgia in her mind, also needs to be indicted. What say you, Mark?
Yeah, great observations, Todd. You're exactly right. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution specifically says that we have the right to petition the government in all its forms if we have a grievance. Now, there's no dispute that Donald Trump and his legal team disputed who won the Georgia electoral votes in 2020. That was a legitimate fight. They took it to the courts, they took it to the Congress, they took it to the state legislature, i.e. the government, which they were allowed to do under the First Amendment. And when you read this 97-page indictment, Todd, you really see, you read this and you say to yourself, geez, it looks like that all they did was they were petitioning the government because they disagreed with what was going on. And ultimately, they lost in Congress on January 6th. But how all of a sudden, petitioning the government somehow becomes a crime and a criminal enterprise, which is what this indictment says, it's really bewildering.
Well, on that note, 19 defendants, 41 counts in all defendants are being charged with racketeering. And this indictment, Willis says the defendants and co-conspirators constitute a criminal organization. Can you explain what racketeering is and how the DA is using it in this case?
Yeah, the way to think about racketeering or RICO is you have a comprehensive and multi-part, multi-step, multi-person conspiracy to commit some crime. Usually, for example, think of it as a ring where everyone is in the business of selling drugs at different levels. You have the drug lord and you have people selling the drugs on the street. That's the notion of what a criminal enterprise and a racketeering enterprise is designed for. So what they're really saying here, Carly, is that President Trump was the head of a criminal enterprise designed to overthrow the election in Georgia in 2020. But again, it's the world's worst criminal conspiracy, as I see it, because he was telling everyone every step of the way his plans, why he thought he had won, why he thought that Congress should do what it did, or what it should do from his point of view in terms of auditing the results and whatnot. So it's the world's worst criminal conspiracy because every single step of the way he was saying what he was doing and why he was doing it. And again, that indictment, while it has a lot of criminal language in it, it really just describes a legal process that they were fighting because they disagreed with what was going on with the election. Rightly or wrongly, they had the right to petition the government and raise their issues, which they did and ultimately lost, but they were allowed to argue it.
Yeah, it seems clear that
Trump's a part of a criminal enterprise. You mean the guy that, couldn't stop tweeting or posting, couldn't stop getting, making statements, I should say, was a part of a criminal enterprise trying to take over the government, even though he was out here speaking about all. Oh man, yeah. I mean, my goodness. I'm no scholar when it comes to law, right? But this has to be an absolute joke. There's no way this man gets charged for being a part of a criminal enterprise. I mean, this is an absolute joke, man. This is, oh my goodness. You can't be serious with this stuff. You can't be serious with this stuff. But the way that I see it, and maybe I'm wrong, it's just gonna make 2024, when Trump is announced, the next president of the United States of America that much better. It's just going to be that much more glorious when he's announced the next president and he'll be inaugurated in 2025. It's just going to be that much better because they did all of this, all of it, to try to get rid of the voters' opinions, right? And we stood up and said, no, we still want Trump. They tried to push DeSantis out in front of us. Well, we've seen how that has gone. We've seen how that has played out. Literally, DeSantis had a rally. I believe he was in Iowa speaking, and the entire crowd started chanting, "We want Trump." While he was trying to speak, I made a YouTube short on it. If you haven't seen it, go over to the shorts tab. It should say shorts at the top of the screen on my YouTube channel. And it might be like 3 shorts down. Okay. You might have to scroll past like 3 of them and it should be somewhere in there. All right. So we've seen how that has gone. Now, and then they wanted to try to throw all of these indictments at Trump. And polls have started to come out. Even more clips have started to drop. I even dropped a YouTube short of a black gentleman. And I say that because I think that's important with this story. But he said, the more you indict, the more we vote. The more you indict, the more money we send. They're trying to push us in a different direction so much. And it's so great to see the American people stand up and say no. That's who we told you we want. We don't want DeSantis. We don't care about these indictments or any of this other crap. The more you indict, the more you push out DeSantis, the more you try to Bidenomics your way out of this, the more we vote. The more people convert to Republican. We've seen that. The more we send money to Uncle Trump, the more donations he receives from us. Man, this stuff is incredible. Let's finish this video out, though.
Using Georgia's RICO as an attempt to bring in as many defendants as possible in order to get some, if not all, of those defendants to flip to ultimately get their number one target. Georgia's RICO is an attempt to bring in as many defendants as possible in order to get some, if not all, of those defendants to flip to ultimately get their number one target, Donald Trump, who, by the way, is running in the 2024 presidential election, in case you didn't know that. One more on this, Mark. Fani Willis wants all these charges with all these defendants wrapped up in 6 months. I've heard from some people, Kash Patel included. We all know Kash. RICO in Georgia, or if not in the federal world, takes about 2 to 4 years to prosecute a case. She wants all this stuff wrapped up in 6 months. So in what fantasy world, Mark, does she exist?
Yeah, it's a total fantasy. A RICO case like this, with the number of defendants, the number of charges, the 97 pages of allegations, will literally take years to process through the system. There will be motions to dismiss the indictment. There will be interlocutory appeals. There will have to be massive discovery. Keep this in mind, Todd, that the government has literally spent 2 to 3 years investigating all these facts. They just handed this indictment to all these defendants. Now they need approximately the same amount of time, if you think about it, to do the investigation, because they're starting from scratch. So just add all that up, and you're looking at a trial literally years from today. 6 months is definitely not going to happen, and I'm sure she knows it.
Yeah, and one of the...
Of course she wants it done in 6 months. Of course. She knows that's not good. I believe she knew that wasn't going to happen, but she's going to try to push for before the next election. I guarantee you that, in my humble opinion, I should say, to try to get the charges out there. We got to get Trump. We got to get him. Nah. This going to take some time. We're going to slow roll this. The government had all y'all time in the world to put this together. Now we get that same amount of time. I believe that's the way it should be. The defendants should get the same amount or equal time or similar time to put their case together as well. Y'all had all this time to do this. Y'all have had a whole, what has it been, 3 years? So we get that same amount of time. We're going to slow roll this, baby. We're going to slow roll it. Ain't no rushing now. Why you rushing? Why you rushing? You know what I'm saying? Jeez.
Other strange things that took place yesterday is that Fulton County posted the indictment on their website before the grand jury even started voting. So the county clerk's office is calling that a fictitious document, but never said why it was posted on their website. And the grand jury issued arrest warrants for all that are charged. DA Wells is giving defendants the opportunity to surrender by noon on Friday, the 25th of August. So we are just getting started in this one. I think there are going to be a lot of questions as to why that indictment was posted before the grand jury even voted.
Well, Fani Willis said she has no idea how the whole clerk's office works, which I find fascinating because any lawyer who's ever filed anything typically knows how a clerk's office works, and presumably as the DA, you have filed something in the past.
Mark, thank you so much for waking up early and joining us. We always appreciate you.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. My goodness. I mean, we already knew this was coming. We saw this from, a country mile away, right? But now that it's here, I'm just annoyed, I'm just annoyed. It's just like, for what? It's not going to work. We're still going to support Uncle Trump. So let's say you do manage to throw him in jail. We vote him in as president. He pardons himself. Now, I don't know if that's exactly how it works. Y'all can let me know in the comment section, okay? But, that would be funny. Watching all of these leftists who have just been celebrating, Trump is in jail, Trump is in jail. He's not going to win. There's no way he's going to win. And then he wins. And then he pardons himself. And he's back out. Like he never left. That would be some funny stuff, Maybe we should do that. Yeah, just let them arrest Trump and put him in jail for a little while. Sit him down and we'll get him in office. And that'll be a fireworks show right there. Watching Uncle Trump walk out of jail free, 0 charges. Right down to the White House. The liberal tears. Oh boy. The more that this stuff happens, the more I feel like people have really rallied behind Uncle Trump. People that you wouldn't have even expected. And I've dropped some YouTube shorts on it recently. That displayed, some of that stuff, for example, like I was talking about earlier, the short where, make sure you guys are tuning in to my YouTube shorts. Cause hey, I dropped some decent ones. Okay. I ain't going to say they're the best ever, but they're pretty decent. You definitely don't want to miss them. Okay. You definitely don't want to miss them. Check out those YouTube shorts. But, the one with, Ron DeSantis, I couldn't think of his name there for a second. Goodness gracious. Forgot the guy's name for a minute, was in Iowa, and the crowd literally started chanting, "We want Trump," to the point where, was it the Iowa governor or mayor, whoever that lady was like, well, we're Iowa nice, and, as a matter of fact, I think it's the governor. We're Iowa nice, and we should give everyone has the opportunity to speak, and we'll stop until you guys are finished. And it's like, that's exactly what we want. Just stop. You're giving us what we want, because she thought, we'll hold off on having anybody speak, Ron DeSantis and anybody else that was there to speak, probably Tim Scott and the whole crew, we'll stop until you guys are respectful. Like, no, we're done being nice. We told you nicely who we wanted before. You didn't listen. You pushed out Ron DeSantis in front of our face and dangled him. We told you we didn't want him, and you continue to push him out in front of us. We asked you nicely again. We don't want Ron. We don't want Meatball Ron. We may take him in 2028. That's what we said at first. We want Uncle Trump, and you said no, you're going to get Ron DeSantis. So now, we're not playing nice anymore. We tried to be respectful and nice before. So now when we see you and Ron DeSantis on stage, we're not going to allow you to speak. We're going to say, we want Uncle Trump. Out loud. So stop with the charades. We've told you who we want. And that's my thing about it. You know, like, look at the polls. Look at the sentiment from the people. Like, honestly, I think a lot of these candidates that are running are only running for their own personal gain. In my humble opinion, I could be wrong. Because everybody knows, including them, they're not stupid. Well, I would like to hope they aren't stupid folks. They know that they have no shot at winning, right? So, in my humble opinion, they're running for their own personal gain, for book deals, you know, for other types of speaking engagements, you know, to raise the fee, you know. That's how I feel about it, in my humble opinion. But yeah, y'all let me know. I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong, but that's how I'm feeling about it. But as always, y'all let me know what you thought about this, what you think about the new Georgia indictment in the comment section below. I think it's a load of baloney, but that's just my humble opinion. Peace and love, family. I'm out.